In 1992, Colorado voters added the Taxpayers Bill of Rights, also known as TABOR, to the state constitution. While the most well-known provision of that amendment says any tax increase requires voter approval, it does a lot more than that. In addition to prohibiting certain types of taxes and setting guidelines for elections, it restricts how much revenue the government can collect each year. By limiting the growth of revenue, TABOR limits the growth of government. That law doesn't just apply to state government either. It applies to local governments like school districts, special districts, and city and counties, and Jefferson County is no exception. In the case of county governments like Jeffco, the revenue cap allows spending to grow by inflation and local growth, which means new construction. If the government collects more than the cap allows, mills get lowered the next year. Think of a mill as your property tax rate. A homeowner in Jefferson County pays about 87 mills. About half pays for schools. Then there are mills for your fire and library districts, your city or town, and then finally Jefferson County. About a quarter of your property taxes paid in Jefferson County goes to the county government. Those property taxes are Jefferson County's largest funding source. That revenue is used to fund roads, sidewalks, elections, parks, youth programs, child protection, the airport, and public safety services provided by elected officials like the district attorney and the sheriff. TABOR does allow voters to decide if they should let the government keep the revenue it collects over the cap. This process has been called Debrucing, named after the author of TABOR. If voters decide to debruce, they allow the government to keep and spend all the money it collects at current rates, but a vote is still required to raise tax rates above current levels. 174 out of 178 school districts have debruced, as well as 62 out of 64 county governments. The two counties that haven't are Weld and Jefferson. Because Jefferson County still has a cap on how much revenue it can keep each year, during periods of quick growth in property value, the county automatically lowers property taxes. However, with the county population having grown by more than 25% since 1992, lower tax rates and an increased demand for services are a recipe for a strained budget. For example, in 2019, in order to comply with the revenue limits under TABOR, county property tax rates fell by 3.6 mills, or about $110 on an average single-family home in Jefferson County. Even though this is a relatively small tax cut for each homeowner, it reduced the county's budget by about $30 million, or around a 6% cut despite thousands of new residents moving in. When trying to understand revenue limits, it's helpful to think of the county's government as a car. In order to stay on the road, a car needs gas, oil, and regular maintenance to make sure it continues to deliver the services for the people riding in it. All of those things cost money. Now imagine every year more and more people start to ride in the car. Even though they are paying what they've been asked to pay for gas money, the passengers are putting more and more of a strain on the engine. At the same time, the passengers end up getting a small refund of their gas money most years, and they're prohibited by law from putting it back toward the car or paying more gas money without a majority of the passengers agreeing. In the meantime, 97% of other cars on the road aren't giving their passengers refunds, and instead they are investing in the cars and getting where they need to go faster and more efficiently. Jefferson County is a wonderful place to raise our families, play in our parks, and conduct business, and we all want to strive to keep it that way. While TABOR makes certain that government doesn't grow any faster than the economy grows, it also allows the voters to decide whether the revenue the county collects is enough to keep pace or if it's falling behind. Is it time to modernize Jefferson County's budget? Jefferson County's board has placed a question on the November ballot asking voters if they will support Jefferson County keeping the revenue allowed under the currently authorized mill levy. This ballot initiative has widespread bipartisan support from the Jefferson County community. On November 5th, vote yes on 1A.